Okay, another Game Gear here. It's been sent in by Wayne's World of Gaming. He's a YouTuber, so I'll send in a link to his page, even on a very small channel. So let's see what it's doing. I've got the power cord here and Sonic 2. Let's just see what it's doing. Okay. Oh, maybe a bit of a DC jack problem. Okay, fine. Let's take this apart and see what's going on inside. Okay, so this actually does have the old stand, which is like, you could use it for, well, you used to watch TV, but these things did used to damage the case plastic, so I'll just try and leave that alone to be fair, because they're basically wedged in there, so I'll just leave that alone. Let's have a quick look. So this is a 2 ASIC chip board, a bit of corrosion already, so fingers crossed we can help out here. Soundboard, a lot of corrosion also. Power boards, well, we'll see how that is going. But see how these, like, the stand here affects, it actually makes contact there with the power board and the soundboard. So maybe it's part of our power issue, not sure. We'll have to have a look at that. But yeah, quite a lot of corrosion here that we need to get off really. Let's just all take this down now. The Frankenstein one even, because a lot of the traces were teared and it looks quite ugly. So let's just attach this and see if we get any more luck with it working. Get it working. And we know it's going to be the power board most likely. Yeah man. There it goes. Shut that back together. In my trusty. And this will go straight on because the power switch is broken. Right. Oh. Come on now. Whether this is the original power lead, whether this is on the blink. There we go, there we go. Okay, so we've got sound. A lot of hiss. Just need to recap there. We're missing picture. Some pop in there, that could be the amp chip. But following a recap, hopefully. So we've got a bit of colour at the top of the screen. Let's just see how it looks, I suppose, after a full recap. Fingers crossed there's some hope here. Alright, I just have to pull that out due to the permanent on switch of that power board. Nice, so there's definitely hope for this. I mean, if the screen is broken, it may be broken the screen, but at least the main board's working and it'd be perfect for a LCD upgrade. So, what shall we work on first? We can work on the main board first. Let's just, oh, this is the old hand grip strap there, just in case you get angry and throw it at a wall. So, let's move that apart. I'm trying to work a bit cleaner in my recap service thing. Let's start by removing these screws. Just have a quick little gander. General. What I do like to do is I like to recap with the board in the shell. You have to be very, very careful not to burn the shell. but the LCD is so easily scratched. So this is something I've learned over doing quite a few caps replacements. Is yeah, you gotta be pretty careful because the LCD is so sensitive, and I'll slip them, game over. Well, not really, but you just see scratches, and no one likes seeing scratches. So if we have a close up here, there's quite a lot of corrosion. ASIC wise, so these are the two chips. I can't see corrosion there, which is beneficial. Got here, which I believe on the exact opposite of this negative pad is the D-pad. So we'll see how that goes. So you can see the capacitors looking a bit funky there. Let's just give it a general little spruce. I cleaned my teeth with a toothbrush this morning, so it should be nice and clean. Nice and gentle, nice and gentle. The chances are I will have to get the little, my little do-it-all tweezers on this corrosion versus. We saw this before on another board, didn't we? It's not the end of life. It's not the end of the world. But just trying to scrape that corrosion off, because corrosion tends to just keep eating typically. Being quite gentle, but also a little bit tough. Unless you use these tweezers for everything. Recapping, opening little packages, holding the capacitors. We should probably get another pair really. Need to refill this alcohol. Right. We'll leave it like that for now, and we'll come to it. We'll come back to it. Return. Let's give this a little gentle spruce. Now we'll start by removing some of these caps. So same process again. Be very gentle. You hold on here, twist and lift, twist and lift. So these caps are glued down. It's the same again. Twist, lift, 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 and nice. So that was actually away already. Let's just remove some of these old caps now. I may need flux, may not need flux. Let's just have a quick look. I'll definitely need flux when I'm cleaning the traces. I think the more you do things as well, the more let me just get a container for these caps. Endeavour to work cleaner. One, two. Oh, and the lovely smell of fish. That's just what you want to smell at 9 AM in the morning. That's just heating up these old. The smell of fish is the capacitors with their electrical fluid or electric fluid, whatever it's classed as. So I've watched over the years. I've watched many videos on recaps, but and I've just practiced a lot with recapping. I'm not a professional, but as you can tell. But I enjoy recapping Game Gears to a degree. While more so, I enjoy getting things working again. 1 and 2. Careful here with the traces. The traces are fine there, they just got quite a lot of corrosion and damage, so I'll have to be very careful here. One, two, 1. These are a bit better condition. They're lifting away a lot easier. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. 1. Back to 2. And this is the most fiddly one in the corner. Usually just get in the corner there and try not to knock the blue thing, because that houses the power to the board, the cables. Nice. Lovely. So what we need to do, get a bit of flux on these traces now and clean them up with some flux. I'm so used to work on the ASIC 1 as well now, because they have slightly, their capacitors are like there and there. But this is the ASIC 2, so 1 less capacitor. So in theory, 1 less tiny task. But in the grand scheme of things, doesn't actually make much of a difference. Just getting some good flux on those traces. Let's just try to zoom in a little bit. So my iron is nice and hot. I'll just get the end of this wick off. Nice. My little bin on the side there. And yeah, let's try and clean up these traces. Hopefully they'll come up quite nicely. Clean the end of your iron. Nice and hot, nice and hot. So one thing I have noticed, the ASIC 2 chip board is usually prone to more issues, like corrosion. I was speaking to my friend the other day, the ASIC 1 apparently was made in a different factory, and they typically have less issues. But these traces are coming up quite nicely, they're nice and shiny, which is what we're hoping for. Let's just try and get that one off. 1, 2. Solder wick is brilliant. I believe it's copper braid, and it just, with the flux as well, lets the solder flow really nicely into the braid. And yeah, cleans it up quite nicely. And a nice hot iron makes short work of it then. Beautiful. So the fact that it's coming out quite nicely here, there probably isn't too much corrosion, which is really reassuring, especially for Wayne. And myself really, because there's nothing worse than not being able to get a Game Gear working again. I'd much rather get everything that I work on back to how it's supposed to be working. Let's just get the corner. This corner one is the trickiest to work on in general, but just take your time. On the ASIC 1, it's not boxed in the corner. This component is somewhere else, so you've got like quite a decent space there. So what we'll do now is spray a bit of alcohol and get our trusty Q-tips, which we are slowly running out, guys. This is gonna peel. We need some more cotton buds, which I'll have to buy from the shop at some point. Desperate times, isn't it? I do have more IPA, don't worry. Let's do some nice cleaning up. This is when you realise you forgot to remove one of the capacitors as you're cleaning, or you forgot to flux off one of the traces. But that's looking okay, to be fair. And a decent amount of muck there. But so if we have a look, those traces now have come up relatively well. I'm just going to scrape a little bit off this one. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, because it will be connection to the pad. But rightio, we still need to attack this. Let's do some more attacking. Okay, I think we'll leave that one for now. Let's get our capacitor kits out. So sometimes I recap the soundboard first, and then the power board, and then the main board, but I quite like recapping the main board first, because then we know what's what. You know if we have a working Game Gear or not. The board is a lot more expensive than the soundboard and power board to replace. There's a lot of alternatives now. Like Retro 6, they sell a decent, very decent soundboard, which I've just bought one now for my ASIC 1 Game Gear that the sound is really bad for. And just see, yeah, they generally seem to be a lot cheaper to replace now, especially with like nowadays components rather than the ones from 1991. Yeah, let's get the caps ready. So we'll start with the 10UF. So we use 4 of these. On the single ASIC chip, we use 5, but on the 2 ASIC, it's only 4 of these. So again, get my trusty tweezers, just hook in there. Don't drop them on the floor. Unless you've got very good eyes, you won't find them. 4 there. And back in the little packet, yes, so we know where it's gone. What we'll do is find my flux, and the first 2 just go in here and here. This board still needs a little bit of tidying up, doesn't it? Just like, I'm just gonna tidy up a little bit there. But we will give it a full tidy again after said recap. Okay, so iron's ready already, so we need to get some some solder, and we get a cap. Just gently apply a bit of solder to here, and just apply this now. And by holding that to the trace and the pad, it should go quite nicely. Hello. It's been still too hot to touch there. Just make sure this is fully down. Sometimes if you touch it too soon, the other side is still too hot and not fully set. Let's just see how this goes now. Feels fairly firm there. Turn this around because I can only do it one way. The important thing is to stay calm. Calm and relaxed. That's quite a therapeutic task in general. Nice. So just a bit of IPA. Move the old flux. It does advertise as no clean flux. That's alas. So those are the first two capacitors on. They should be working fine now. Next two go, one here and one there. So let's just get some flux on those traces. And we've still got two left, so there's some solder left. It'll be enough to make it stick. There we go. So then just do either side. And flux makes this job a lot easier. No, not a flux though. Just tells the solder where to go mainly. That's a bit of a nightmare now. There you go. Probably because I'm recording. Usually they set straight away. Alas, it's all good. As long as you leave it in a better condition than how you found it. Surely that's an improvement. Make sure you're making good contact with the traces there. You fill in the solder. So that's the last two on there. Now what I like to do next is the two 1UF. They're very even smaller again. Look how small they are. And then again, same principle. Do not drop these on the floor, even more so, because they're even smaller. That's why I just do it over the table as you're opening it, just in case they fling off and hopefully land next to each other. Lost one then, but they're both there. So those two go here and here. It's the same principle. Tin your iron, and then again, just take your time. One done there. Leave it a second, just so it sets. Lovely. Now let's just rotate this. Probably needs a bit of love there. hold that there, so boop. And boop. Have a little inspection there. There's a tiny little 2 installed quite nicely there. Next we have 5 100 UF capacitors, so we go into this next baggie. They're slightly bigger, not really though. Slightly different colour to the 10 UF, so if you do mix them up you can tell the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones I call official live. And back in the bag so you know what's what. So just add some flux onto these traces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 1 and 2. Nice. This is like £13 on Amazon. It does last a long time and it's really good. So I think value for money is pretty good to be fair. So just get a bit of solder on the end of the iron. Get this one on first. It's a lot trickier soldering with the camera. That's something I'm trying to learn how to do. Nice bit of meltage on a tiny little bracket there, but that's okay. This doesn't actually matter. As long as you haven't melted everything. Everything's a bit backwards today. Usually I do these 2 fast. But it's all about the flux. It's all about the flux, but the flux. Nice. Just make sure that's flowed nicely in there, which it has. Lovely. 2 left. If you don't leave it alone for like, I don't know, 3 seconds, there's still quite a bit of movement. Because you're waiting for it to set. Right, so this can be the most tricky one. And I'll have to do it like this. So again, same process, just pre-tin. And sometimes I do the far corner first, or the closest corner, depends how I feel at the time. If you heat that bit first, push it to the side, and then you've got a bit of a gap there. Heat up the pin, watch these wires, and then just introduce it in all slowly. And holding your iron there just to make sure it's making a nice contact. And then just inspecting your work afterwards. And that looks to be making contact. That's a bit uneven. Try and fix this one. Alas, it doesn't actually matter, there's a connection, so that will work. Let's just quickly tidy up the rest of this flux. No clean flux, but we're cleaning it anyway. And then we can actually do a test then to see if it's working. Which hopefully, really clean that side. Hopefully it's working. So fundamentally, like, you're checking for corrosion on the vias, which is the tiny little holes that lead to the other side of the board. You can't really see any corrosion. There's a bit of plastic there, isn't it? There we go, that's fine. Sometimes when you're soldering this one, it can bridge some of these pins. They don't seem bridged currently. I think we're ready just to check C. Not that one. There's my test board. Here it is. Let's just test to see if we have a working Game Gear. Fingers crossed we do. The Frankenstein soundboard, been around for a while. Obviously, don't do this as soon as the thing's soldered. It's hot. It just needs some time to cool down. But we'll have a look now. See how this goes. Oh, there we go. We've just got a dirty screen, but. It's definitely an issue with my power lead here. Original jazz. But we can see the screen does work there. Let's give it a little. Once more. There we go. Screen's a little bit poppy, but that is the soundboard. Let's go full dim. I can't see dead pixels. I can just see like white bits. So by the looks of it, we've got a working Game Gear here. Contrast wheel working nice. Nice, okay. Let's get to work on the power board and the soundboard. Put that already. traces there. Okay, so we had a quick little cleanup there. Traces that come out pretty decent. We'll just see how the caps stick to these traces now. So again, it's the 100 UF caps that we use. Ceramic again. So another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put that back in the right packaging again. So there's appropriate amount of trace revealed and cleaned. So yeah, that shouldn't cause an issue with regards to the sound working. No traces were torn. I know it's a bit controversial the way I remove them, but I've seen other repairers do that and it works pretty well. Even if you do tear a trace on the soundboard, you can usually repair it. Because underneath, well, you can see the green, the traces. Green is typically a positive trace, but, and then negative just needs to go to a negative area for it to still work properly. Let's put these where they belong. You go there. Alright, so let's start with the top right one. the loop. So again, clean the tip and get some solder. That's fine. As we get to there and down, down, down. Nice. So as you see, as we flow then, if you go down on the way out, it creates quite a nice solder. If I just speed this one up as well. So just flowing down, flowing down. That's that one. Spectral work again. I seem to have a good connection there to the traces. Let's just give it a little wipe over. Now the worst thing you could do is add flux to your toothbrush. Not if you use it for your mouth, but because it just goes sticky afterwards, and then everything's just sticky that you use it on then, and it's just not the world's best idea. Apparently this thing, not sure what the name is, reduces noise and like crackles. I've seen some boards lately without it. As if people remove them. Not sure why you would remove it. This is, I believe, the amp chip. So that's the amp chip, which can go on these. Bit of corrosion still in there, so let's just do what I just said I wouldn't do. Introduce the toothbrush on a bit of flux. So obviously that corrosion can affect the transference of electricity, etc., and affect the noise. Sound wheel feels good. Yeah, see how that goes. So that should be a working soundboard now. Let's move on to the power board. So let's have a quick look at it. Fundamentally it seems okay, but we know it wasn't actually turning on, so probably the caps. Could be corrosion underneath this big boy, or this smaller boy, or this tiny boy. So we already removed 3 caps on this board, and hopefully the rest is working. So with Retro 6's capacitor kit, they send you everything bagged and labelled. So that's always helpful, and you literally just replace like for like, big, smaller, tiny, and yeah, let's try and add a bit of flux now. Let's see if it flows, because typically I don't have much luck with these. I may have to increase the temperature, I'm not sure, but let's see if it flows. Typically it doesn't. Right. Bubbling, but I'm not sure if that's the flux. see how this is looking. See, it is coming off, but it's gone all like clumpy. I don't know why it does this. Because the ASIC one, it doesn't, it just goes really nicely. It's probably something to do with the electrolytic fluid, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I do have a solder sock I can use, but I'd rather use the wick because it's a bit easier to remove solder this way. Just hold it on. So then you don't want to burn any traces away. So the solder is coming, it's just slowly. Yeah, okay. Let's try the other bit, and then what we can do, we can just wiggle the capacitor out. That is another, that's another possibility. Let's see how this one goes. So that's a bit more joy. Look at that. Nice. So that's how it should look. You start seeing it come away. Let's just see if we can be smart here. Just pull from the other side. Where I lose my fingers. There we go. So that's out. Just trying to flow the rest of its flux into this wick. See what we can do. This doesn't want to work, does it? Hold it a bit longer. It's like, yeah, it goes all like almost like dry. It's like dry solder. Let's try the flux on there. You've done this already. Got flux, I'm sure. Just doesn't want to flow. I could try the solder sucker if this one doesn't work. But yeah, the solder, it just doesn't like flowing. Okay. Did we do it? Let's try it through this side. Bearing in mind, let's try and damage said traces. No. So, going a bit cowboyish again now. Just gonna gently push past the remaining solder. Just create a veer. And that's worked successfully. Let's remove these other two. Let's use, fingers crossed these come off a bit easier again. Just whack this one right in the middle. Hope for the best. And you'll see it traveling. If the solder's flowing nicely into the wick, you'll see the solder basically like making the wick shiny. It's probably lead, I'm not 100% sure what was used on the Game Gear boards. Probably was lead. That's how it'll look. Again, similar appearance. Get the old sucker out. Let's see if this is any better. Not really. Alright, what we can do, because again, there's less amount of solder on here. Heat up the pin, move the leg. It's a little bit hot. Heat up the pin, move the leg out. And move the leg, and move the leg. Alright, so let's flux the rest of this out now, as that's dropped out. That's a nice veer there. Veer. Nice, there's two nice holes there, which we'll clean up shortly. And just the tiniest one left. Very technical. I think it's 22 UF, the faster, the smallest one. There you go, just shove that in the middle again, hope for the best. One's going. That actually worked quite well. I like to work quite hot, so I work with, well, my iron says 400, who knows what it is because it's quite cheap. This always worked quite well. I've only had it for a few months now. It's got a built-in extractor fan, but today I've got the door open, so well ventilated area. If you don't want to be breathing in these fumes, can lead to occupational asthma. So that's not very good, is it? No one wants asthma unnecessarily, unless you're born with it, so then you learn to live with it. But yeah, if it's caused by a hobby without proper ventilation, that would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? Right, another cap gone. 2 through holes, not really. Let's just wick the rest of that out. Looks good. Let's clean this up with a bit of alcohol. And the underside as well. Make sure these vias are happy. They look fairly happy, to be fair. Let's give it a little brush over as well. Nice. Alrighty. We are slowly getting there. So the stripe on the capacitor is negative. Negative is always a shorter leg. So that just goes through like that. Push it through, I twist the legs up. Same for this one. Just push through. Oh, wiggle wiggle. Sometimes not completely happy. There we go. He's through. And then the smallest one, negative again on the left. Quite straightforward really. Now I am expecting a Lynx 2 that I bought off Marketplace. I'm not sure if it's a con because it hasn't arrived and they posted it with Royal Mail about 10 days ago. And they lost the receipt. But I paid goods and services over through PayPal, so we're protected. So again, I've noticed with these vias it's quite hard to make the solder flow, so just hold your pin there, get some flux. It just doesn't like it. Maybe the heat, I don't know, but make sure it's got a nice transference eventually, and reflow the solder just to make sure it's gone in nice. With flux as well. Don't bridge things, Chris. If it is bridged, don't worry. Just get a good amount of flux on there. Maybe my head is dirty, I'm not sure. If anyone else knows about why I struggle with the power boards for ASIC 2s, it's just like dry. Let's get some more flux on here. It's like dry joints, and I don't have the pre-knowledge to understand why the joints are being so dry. Last two. Reflow them, make sure they're making good contact. Yes. Okay, so let's make sure they're firm, because if they're not firm and loose, they're not going to work. Let's just cut these legs off. Firm, firm, firm. Alrighty. Just clean up those little traces. Solve the joints even. Fine. So let's get down to cleaning. So we have the remainder of the screws here. Remove the rest of these. Not many, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips head screws. I'm pretty sure they may be like a fraction of a millimeter difference, but I'm pretty sure they're the same size screws as they are holding in the soundboard and the power boards. And so we can have a nice little look then at the screen and give the buttons on the case a little freshen up. I saw some corrosion on the battery terminals, so we need to tidy that up as well. Now you've got two big boys here holding in the cut slot to the case. Just come out. All good. It's quite nice that you work on things that haven't been open for like 30 odd years. It's pretty cool. Right, so buttons. Sometimes I'm like, where's that membrane gone? And then it's stuck on the board. So always remember to look there. So the question is, how did all that fluff get in there? That's the question. So look at this. Must be a corrosion there, isn't there? So typically what I use for the screen would be like a cheap version of Windex. It works quite effectively. Let's just get a bit of alcohol and a toothbrush on these traces, because no doubt I'm not going to be very happy. Oh dear. Fingers crossed these still work. Fingers crossed underneath. They're still a bit shiny. Let's be very gentle now. Yes. Yes. Thank goodness. Recording it. Nice. Right, so that shouldn't be an issue. And that is probably transferred. Possibly. It makes sense. Right. Spray. Scrub. Just much better than it was.
Don't risk damaging anything. Also, we shouldn't leave anything nasty on there.
Right, that's looking much better. Let's just clean the other side. Careful with the ribbon. Getting that contrast wheel, even though we've already checked the contrast and it's working pretty well. Start with that. Getting the buttons also, but they seem fine. Let's get the old winglets. Now, I don't like touching it too long for the LCD because inevitably you'll get scratches. And no one wants to see a scratch screen today. So already that was an improvement. Yeah, I may, just a tiny bit there. I may just leave it like that actually, because before you know it you'll have micro scratches everywhere and that's not nice to look at. So what I'll do is take the buttons out of here, like that. And I'm going to place the screen back in so it stays scratch free. And we will give these buttons a little freshener. I can always give the case a freshen up afterwards. And let's have a look at this corrosion that I was talking about. Okay, yeah, so bottom left corner, bit of corrosion. To be fair, my toothbrush should get that off. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, right, gonna do a bit of cleaning up now. Okay, I was testing the power board to see if it was working, and by the looks of it, we've got a cold or broken solder joint just here on the DC jack. Because if you wiggle it, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Well, you have to take my word for it, it's wobbling. So just going to add a bit of flux and re-sort this bad bit out. And hopefully that will be our power issue solved then. May add a bit of extra solder now. Let's see this all put together now. So here we are with the fully recapped Game Gear for weighing. There are some cosmetic scratches and things. It is, well, 32 years old, I suppose, 33 years old. Probably could benefit from a new lens. I have tried to polish it a bit, but it's not really helping. Battery terminals, they do work. They had a bit of corrosion. Tried to get as much of it off as I could. Still a tiny bit of blue around, but I have been scrubbing. About like £4 for new ones typically. Let's just see what we're working with now after the full recap. yeah, like I said before, we did notice a cold, broken solder joint for the power jack, and now that seems to have been sorted. Here we are, Sonic 2. Good soundboard. Probably just needs a new lens, really. Never really. I'm not very good at Sonic 2, it's gotta be said. Now I just need to check that all the buttons are happy. Everything seems to be working there. Cool. A bit of click here, but I think it's the you get quite a lot of general wear and tear where the D-pad sits. There's a bit of damage here and there. So a new front shell may not be a bad shout now that this is a fully working Game Gear. But otherwise, yeah, successful. And hopefully there'll be another repair video soon. Thanks guys.